First off, I want to thank Ashland in a difficult situation here, game canceled, and kind of approach it this way with the team that I coached last year. I think we sacrifice way too much. These players sacrifice way too much in terms of what they put into this every day. And this is not a season. They don't play basketball during basketball season. It's a year-long deal. It's like a job in a lot of ways. I think we all know what student athletes put into it, specifically college basketball players. So they make way too many sacrifices not to try to play every single time we can possibly play. And we approached it like that a year ago, and I don't think didn't feel like the right decision last year when we made decisions to play games on a whim. But I thought at the end of the year our team was a little more prepared to compete because we played, I think, every game you could possibly play in terms of the number of games, because we just kept getting games canceled and kept figuring out how we could play, whether it's going on the road or playing back-to-back or whatever. And so we're trying to take that same mentality. If we're going to run into some COVID issues, let's just play, regardless of who we play, when we play, where we play. Let's just find a game and play, because I think it'll make us a better team, a better program. And then I think our guys sacrifice way too much not to be able to put the uniform on and run out and play a game. So I want to thank Ashland for coming tonight. I want to thank our fans for showing up. I mean, you just pinch yourself. Like you walk out of that tunnel and, I know our fans don't buy season tickets to see us play Division II opponents. Now they're a pretty good basketball team. I think let's give credit to them. Well coached. They run their stuff. They're disciplined. They're in good position defensively. But our fans don't pay for tickets to watch us play Division II games. So with a circumstance like this, an extenuating circumstance, for them to still come show up and support us, man, it just blows me away. And I don't need a lot of motivation, because I like to think I don't lack for that. But it just gives you more of an urgency that we got to do a better job and to become a type of team for the people that care about this program. And so I want to thank our fans for coming out in these extenuating circumstances. They gave us a nice lift tonight. David shot it, and David played well. I thought he played with some passion and some edge, and made some plays kind of there in the first half to get us going a little bit, and obviously made some plays to start the second half. So was pleased with some of the stuff he did. And Jeremiah shot the ball well, and we're trying to figure out ways to get him more engaged in the offense and put him in better positions to take advantage of his offensive weapons. And I thought, he did a nice job shooting the ball and making some plays tonight, and played with some nice edge. So it's good to see those guys score it. And there were some good things throughout the game. I don't mean to be negative Nancy and all that. There were some segments that were good, and there were some moments that were good, and sometimes we did some good things. But I'm disappointed in our performance over 40 minutes. We had what I think is probably the best in-season practice that we've had all season yesterday. And we had a real sense of urgency to try to work and address some of the things that are holding us back. And I don't know any other way to do it than just to get in the gym and work at it and practice. I don't have any secrets to success. It's going to take what it's going to take. And I thought our guys really came out and gave it to us yesterday, and were inspired and trying to push through some things to become a better team. And I didn't see that for 40 minutes tonight. And, I'm frustrated, and I think they know I'm frustrated. One of the reasons I'm frustrated is because I think more of our group than that. I think we have high-character guys. I think we have guys that want to do it right. And so I got to figure out a way to get us to take some steps. And, again, not being able to see that 2 days in a row is frustrating. But we'll get back to work here as soon as I get done with you guys and get to the film. And we'll give them a chance to catch their legs and get a breath, and we'll get back to work on the basketball court on Monday and try to finish this thing off on Tuesday against Tennessee Tech.
You go up 25 with 11:46 left. Was it just did focus dip, or what did you see that allowed them to kind of get back in it?
Yeah, sense of urgency, positioning, ball pressure, activity, pursuit of the ball, the focus to execute and be in the right positions offensively. A lot of that.
Can you just tell us what yesterday was like from your perspective, and finding out the game was canceled, and some of the work that went into getting this scheduled?
I was walking into practice. I think we were going to start our scouting report at 11:30, and I want to say at 11:26, something like that. I mean, I have to look at my phone. I don't have it on me, but somewhere within 3 or 4 minutes of us starting to do our walkthrough for Texas Southern, I just peeked down at my phone as I was going to put it on the scores table, and I had a strange number with the text message that said, "Hey, head coach at Texas Southern, please call me urgent." And, Coach said that they weren't going to be able to get on a plane. They had COVID issues, that they had already had issues, were playing through them, and weren't going to be able to come. So it's like, okay, you call the team together. All right, here's the deal. We got to get better today. Maybe we can work a little harder now that we're not preparing for another team. And then we'll try to figure out a game for you guys. Don't know if we'll be able to find one or not, but we'll try that as soon as practice ends. So we practiced about as hard and intense as we've ever practiced here during the season. And the guys were fantastic. And then if you really want to know, Justin, the staff, we hadn't eaten yet. So we walked over to Taste of Belgium on Short Vine. We're the only people there. They gave us a great table and great service. So shout out to Taste of Belgium. And is that a Cincinnati thing, Taste of Belgium? I love food in Cincinnati. It's a good thing. It's got some good stuff. And we sat there as a staff, entire staff, and just got on the phone and called everybody we could possibly call. Obviously we're looking at the cancellations that have been announced, and we're calling the team that didn't have the COVID issue. We're calling everybody local. Hey, whether it's Division I, non-Division I, because we think we got a chance to play a game, we got to play, and that's the best way to improve and grow. I already talked about that. So we did that till about 4:30, and then I went up to meet with John Cunningham about some of the stuff that was available, and it was. Listen, we would have preferred to have a Division I game. It wasn't feasible. There were a couple teams that were interested in playing, but the terms were, I won't share them publicly, but some of the terms, and to their credit, they said we can only do it if this, to get a plane that quickly, or, people asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like, it was impossible to get that type of game that quickly. But Ashland, who is a formidable opponent, I knew we could get better playing tonight. Was in driving distance, was willing to play, and the terms were very reasonable. And so, we made a decision at 5 o'clock last night to play the game, because you got to have concessions in order and usher. I mean, you learn it's a lot more than just playing a basketball game. There's a lot more that goes into it. So from 11, let's say 20, I'll round down to 5 o'clock. That's what happened, and I'm really pleased that we got a game. We'll get better and learn and grow from this. And again, I appreciate them making the trip.
I'm curious, with COVID seemingly becoming more and more of an issue, not just in college basketball, but all around the country in every sport, are you guys changing anything as far as testing, or maybe just your message of, all right, guys, let's make sure we're still being disciplined and make sure this thing doesn't hit our locker room?
Yeah, it's all happened, Keith. It feels like in 24 hours, right? Isn't that how it felt like a couple springs ago? I mean, it's like everything's fine. It's just bang, I think that's something we're going to address with the group. I don't know if we've had time, because, again, I don't know if we realized there were any major issues until 11:20 yesterday. And so I think that's something that we're going to have to address and maybe amp up some of our protocols so we have the best chance to continue to play.
How much of a chance did you get to prepare for Ashland?
Not a lot, but we divided up the responsibility as a staff, and then we had I think we met at 7 a.m. as a staff this morning. One guy on the staff has out of bounds, one guy has their defense, one guy has their offense, that type of thing. And we divided that, had a meeting, did a 25-minute walkthrough with the players on the floor at 9 o'clock. And listen, that has nothing to do with our play. I mean, the things that are ailing us with our play have nothing to do with scouting or our guys are focused on the scouting report. They're doing a pretty good job of paying attention to that and being aware of that. That has nothing to do with our poor play at the moment.
You talked about you don't have any tricks, but whether it's focus, edge, execution, whatever, what's the challenge to getting those things to be more consistent? Because we've seen you guys be able to do that.
Yeah, well, I think we earned it, Justin. I think we earned the ability to sustain those things by how we practiced, in the preseason and leading up to our first couple weeks of games. Our practices were contentious. They were challenging. We got tired. We pushed them to the edge. And then those guys kept fighting through fatigue or frustration to try to do the right things and build the right habits. And then you go out and you can, carry that stuff over to the court. I haven't met many players that don't want to play well in a game or don't want to do it right in a game. But you got to earn the right to be able to sustain it when the lights are on and people in the stands and you're playing against another opponent. And I thought we earned that early on, and we got to get back to earning that. And we're going to do a better job of demanding that as a staff.
Coach, great to be here. Russ Heltman with all Bearcats. Nice to meet you. What have you seen from Jeremiah Davenport since that Monmouth game that has allowed him to get on a nice little stretch shooting from outside? It's been a clear difference over the past 3 or 4 games.
Man, he's number one, he's really coachable. That's a really important quality in a player. And, you see he has some success really early. Then you see people kind of adjusting to guard him a certain way. And you see the way people are trying to guard him. And then you got to kind of adjust. He has to adjust as a player. We have to adjust as a staff. But that's not always easy if a player's not willing. And he's just so willing to learn. I think he's making better decisions with the ball. And I think when he's making better decisions, he's getting to the second action that he can play out of versus just catching it and going, okay, I'm going to go make a play no matter what the defense is doing or who's in front of me. And, I think it's putting him in better positions to catch and shoot or make quick decisions on the drive versus pounding it in place. The defense loads up to him. And then, he's taking a tougher one or he's turning the ball over or something like that. And then I think the longer that we have time to be together as a team and to work on execution, the more we're going to get better at playing together and making plays for each other in our flow. And I think our team's made a concerted effort over the last couple of weeks to share the ball better and move the ball better and be in the right spots. So I think that's going to help Jeremiah, but it's going to help everybody.
One more question. Walk us through yesterday, like Wes did, but just from your perspective, how maybe weird of a day it was finding out you're not going to play Texas Southern and then maybe we're going to play Ashland now.
Yeah, he told us before practice. We had an earlier practice yesterday, so he told us before practice. But it's just kind of one of our mottos. As he said, are we going to be parking lot guys? And that's guys that'll just go whatever. We'll play against whoever, no matter the circumstance. And today was just a test for us to battle through adversity because we planned on playing another team. Then we switched to a really good team at Ashland. So we kind of had to shift our focus, and it was just a testament to our resilience and ability to adapt.
Both you guys start with David. It seemed like end of the first half, early second half, you've just realized, we need to make something happen. We need to get some points and get this team going. Was that the case, and what did you see that allowed you to attack and score?
Yeah, most definitely. It's kind of looking to be aggressive. And I'm not speaking wrong on JD's behalf, but it looked like he was being aggressive as well. But more importantly, Coach put us in spots to be successful and be us. He was calling plays for us and putting us positions to just be us. Our teammates was doing their job offensively, things that may have gone unnoticed. And defensively, guys like Jay New was getting stops and doing all the little work. And when you have a coach that does that and a team like that, it allows us to be us.
Jeremiah, they said the first 2 shots you took in the second half were 2s. Did you think they were 3s?
One of them was. I felt I got a feel for where my feet is at times, and all the time for real. So yeah, that corner shot that I had, I felt it. It was like a sense of, man, my foot is on the line. So I still shot it anyway. Still made it, but yeah, I definitely felt it.
What were they doing offensively? It seemed like the cutting kind of gave you guys some issues.
Yeah, they did cutting like we haven't seen before this year. But it's good for us because now we need to know what we need to work on. I'm pretty sure that won't be the last time we see it. But we'll clean it up, go in practice and become better from it.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like you guys have gotten a nice little chemistry going at the top of the key, getting JD open for those open looks outside. Have you guys been working on that? Has that been a point of emphasis the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, definitely. We all know what we are capable of as individuals and players on the court. So we all look for each other, in a sense of the right timing, the right plays, and what we need to do. So, yeah, we all got a good feel of, what we all do on the court, so to say. So, yeah.
Coach mentioned you guys had an early walkthrough this morning ahead of today's game. Could you guys just walk us through what that was like as players, knowing it was a short notice?
We just came in focused, locked in. During the summer, we were doing 7 a.m. conditioning, so it was being up early was nothing new to us. We just knew we had to come ready to lock in for a short period of time and get ready for the game.
You go up by 25 with a little under 12 minutes left, and then they kind of come back on you. Was it lack of focus or kind of maybe lose a step there when you got the big lead, or any explanation for it?
I say, yeah, we was kind of slacking off a little bit, but picked it up a little bit towards the end, and that's all I can say. We will continue to get better as a team, as a unit, and yeah.
David, Coach said he told you guys before practice yesterday he had just found out the game got canceled, but that you guys had a really good practice, maybe your best practice of the season. What allowed that to happen? It would have been easy for you guys to kind of let up, knowing, or at least not then knowing if you had a game or not. Why do you think you guys were able to go out and have such good practice yesterday?
Because Coach gave a speech before practice. He told us, are we going to be situational, or are we going to be a team that through a turbulent year, it looks like, again, as COVID begins to pick up, some teams get better during this time, some teams get worse, and we're going to be the type of team that get better and fight through adversity. And especially through a year like this, if you fight through adversity, you put yourself in position to be successful, because not everyone can do that.
Two-parter, if I may. Tennessee Tech on Tuesday night. How important, David, is this stretch before you guys head to Houston? And then also, JD, how much are you looking forward to seeing Do on Tuesday night?
It's very important. The next couple of days, going hard in practice and then having a good game against a good team that's coming in here. And then we have a few days off to go home and spend some time with our family. So we have to make sure we're not running for the bus too early. We have to make sure we actually amp up our intensity, our focus level to finish strong, and so we can feel good about going home and seeing our family and coming back and resuming against a very good Houston team, as everyone in the country know.
Yeah. Based on what Dave said, based on what you asked about Do, it's going to be really exciting, seeing him coming back in Cincinnati where he started. Us being around for so long, for 2 years, it's going to be really exciting to see, what he does and what we do. So it's going to be really fun, really fun.
As this COVID stuff starts to ramp back up, have you guys kind of tried to lean on what you learned last year to maybe correct some mistakes that happened and put yourself in a better place dealing with it, mentally and off the court?
Yeah, most definitely. Because, not to discredit, because it was a tough year for everyone, but it was an extremely tough year for us. And just for us to battle that, we was going to continue to use those habits that we went through last year and just continue to build upon that so we can be better as people and players, as leaders for the team.